Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of After the Whistle. I'm Ankit, and we've
And
got
I'm
our favorite guest, Rohit, as always, who's really enthusiastic to be with us and talk all things United. And you guys are watching Old Trafford Odyssey, your favorite Manchester United fan channel. So, guys, a massive disgrace, heartbreak is the only things that I can right now think about this performance and how this game has turned out. So let's dive right into our today's topic, which is Arsenal and Manchester United match analysis player ratings, where we've gone from looking like a hard fought draw to almost getting a winner to completely being a disaster at the back and losing 3-1. Rohit, what are your thoughts, man? I mean, take this away.
Firstly, Ankit, thanks for having me on. I'm actually waiting to let out a lot of my thoughts on what really happened. And I think like we were discussing, it's great that this happened on a Sunday night because I'm looking forward to refresh and just start a new week tomorrow because this has ruined my week.
This is
Um,
ruined like not just 1 week, man. We've got the international break coming in, and
oh
which is
yeah, yeah.
what I hate the most because
Especially after a result
generally,
like this.
exactly,
Yeah.
usually after a game like this, you just want to get over it. Have maybe a game just 3 days later, a midweek game where you can just get over this. Now going through the international break and specifically knowing you're going to Brighton next. I mean, we're playing Brighton next. It's at Old Trafford. Imagine
Yeah.
going there with a start like this. It's horrendous.
It is, but even with even with this thing you just said, having a game after 3 days, if Johnny Evans and Maguire is going to be the centre back, I don't want to see that game. Like,
Oh,
I'll
I
be
mean,
shivering
bro,
throughout the game. I don't
how
think that's
how
a
how
game
have
anybody
how
wants to see.
how has things come to this, man? I mean, I just cannot fathom this, man. How have we gone from what we had last year, where our entire season was, you know, based off of an excellent and strong defense and backline, to having Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans as our centre back pairing in the dying minutes of such an intense game at the Emirates with against a team like Arsenal, who are right now one of the best sides in the Premier League, man. How has this happened?
I think I think we'll have to touch upon the the Glazers, the management, and the manager not being backed enough. I think that's where this all comes down to because I think everyone knows that I don't think Maguire was a wanted player in the team, and Johnny
Absolutely. I
Evans
mean, we
was
know clearly that the
yeah.
captaincy was taken off of him. The
For
managers
sure,
had
yeah.
a conversation with him where he's been clearly told that he is nowhere close to the squad. He's probably fifth choice.
Fifth,
So
yes, probably sixth choice behind Evans, and um, and I think Evans was just there for cover, maybe for a cup game, in the 80th minute to just maybe give Lindelof a backup. I think that's why he was there. But today he was finishing with Maguire, and that was really scary. To be honest, I
well,
I
it's
don't
a
know if
it's a different year, different season, different but it's the same old United, man.
it's going to be a long season. That's all I
Yeah,
can
I
say after
mean,
4 games.
once again, where and I want to meet those fans again. I want to, have the conversations with these fans again who a few weeks ago were hailing this to be a fantastic window with murder madness, giving it a rating of 7 and 8, and sort of coming at me for being realistic when I said it's been a disaster of a window. Now, I
It,
want to
it
see where these guys are. Please tell me how your manager's backed. I mean, I don't see this as backing. What does this talk about our squad depth when the sort of injury record that we have, specifically with Varane? We all know how injury prone he is, and we all know that one of the first priority signings that Erik Ten Hag wanted at the start of the season was Kim Min Jae.
yeah, I swear. And two of the signings he really wanted. One, understandable, when Harry Kane Spurs were not going to sell him to us. But two of his first choice signings have gone to Bayern Munich.
I
And they're
mean,
playing them in like another maybe another 2-3 weeks, we're going to play away at the Alliance Arena. That is going to be.
I'm dreading every single game right now. I mean, I don't know what's up with Martinez. That's another injury. That looks like a concern to me now because Martinez also is sort of looking a bit like an injury-prone player because he was injured at the back half of the season. We've just begun the season and he's injured once again. I don't know what's up with that. Lindelof, I just cannot understand why did we substitute Lindelof.
Yeah, I think Martinez. I think what I feel is, when he hit, I think he tackled Eddie Nketiah. I think when he hit him on the knee, I think his ankle was hit. I think the ankle that he injured, I think that's why he was taken off as a precaution. And I think with Lindelof, I think again it was. I think Lindelof was on a yellow card, maybe to prevent a red card. I think he was taken off.
That's if that's the case, then I think this is something, some of the blame does go to Erik Ten Hag also. Not a lot. I understand the situation he's in, but you gotta, I mean, in a game like this, where we're going away at Arsenal, given our away record, given everything and the depth we have, I don't see, in the dying minutes when we're 1-1, I mean, being 2-1, 3-1 up, you're leading is a different story. When it's 1-1, taking off Lindelof just because he's on a yellow card or taking Martinez off as a precaution does not seem like the right move to me. And what I am hearing is that, Martinez did suffer an injury. I'm hoping it's minor or we're in a huge load of trouble. Definitely if Martinez is also gone for a while. So Martinez, I don't think was more of a precaution. That does look like an injury, but taking Lindelof off was not a good call in my opinion. I mean, look at where we are, man. I mean, let me pull up the table right now. Let's not reveal the ratings right now. So
Yeah, but just with what you said, like I think taking Lindelof off was the right approach, because if we lose Lindelof on a red card, then we are without one of our preferred centre backs.
I mean, bro, don't you think with that mentality, we'll be just taking players off right, left, and center? Yeah, I mean, because that's a part of the game. Your defenders are the people that are putting most tackles. That's your centre backs. They will end up having times when they are gonna get yellow cards. You need to address this. Your defenders need to have that calmness. It can't be like, if anybody gets a yellow card, just take him off, specifically in a game like that when we have nobody on the bench. I'm pretty sure, and we could have gone about last 15-20 minutes and Lindelof could have probably still done a much better job than Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire in those dying minutes. They were horrendous.
Yeah, I think they surprised Ten Hag also.
I'm sure they were horrendous. I mean, look at that. Look at the table. My graphic can't even show where we're at. Because we're in the bottom half.
It's not looking good.
It isn't, bro. It isn't. It's ridiculous, man. I mean, I'm fuming right now. I have no words for Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans because, oh my God. I mean, these are two players that, in my opinion, should be nowhere near this squad or this club. I mean, I think these guys should be nowhere near football. Harry Maguire, Johnny Evans should probably just retire.
But you know what? Like, even like you were saying this, right? Like Johnny Evans and Maguire should not be a part of the squad. But I think we were just discussing earlier that, Maguire was asked to, was stripped of the captaincy first, and then he was also asked to find a club. And West Ham did come in. And I feel like they didn't fully let him go because Ten Hag was not sure if he was going to get cover for him.
No, but the reason that was given was like, it's too late to send Maguire now because we don't have enough time to replace him, which is absolute bullshit. Since how long do we know that Harry Maguire is not wanted? I think since the start of the window we know that. So why are we waiting till the last 3 days to look for a replacement? In my opinion, he should have been told on the first day of that window that you are not part of this plan, and he should have been sold to West Ham. We should have accepted that £60 million bid. Now, let me put it this way, Rohit. Tell me what your opinion is about this. So we all know we had a bid of 60 million for McTominay and Maguire. right? Say Manchester United accept that bid, and we pay Maguire the 12 million and force him out. So we sell McTominay, we sell Maguire. Yes, we have to pay him. That is taking a loss, but we still are left with about 48 million pounds to go get a midfielder and maybe Todibo that we could easily get in that 48 million pounds. Yes or no? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, yeah. I think that makes perfect sense in a business in a perfect business sense. But I feel like we have another issue that we are overseeing, which is the ownership, and I don't think they are fully supportive of
The
such
ownership
decisions.
are shit. We all know that since two
Yeah,
decades,
and
but
I think it comes from
it's not
there.
the ownership that does this business. It's not the ownership that goes and does these negotiations, man. This is Richard Arnold and John Murtaugh madness. This is these guys, dude. This is not
Yeah,
the owner. See, the Glazers are shit. They're not gonna back you. Absolutely, we know that. So we knew from day one that if we need players, we need to sell. Now, selling is not on the Glazers. That's on Richard Arnold and John Murtaugh. These guys are an absolute shit show. They're a joke. They are the ones sitting there doing these negotiations, rejecting bids like 30 million pound for Scott McTominay. I don't know in what world he's even worth 20 that you reject 30 for him.
yeah, and the whole spin that Bayern wanted him as the next Schweinsteiger. That was
That's
a big
bull
PR joke. Oh my
crap, bro.
god.
That's bull crap. That was just a PR spin with the Glazers, trying to now, and United trying to make it look like, they made the right decision by not accepting that 30 million bid from McTominay because everybody wants him. Look, it's simple, bro. If Bayern wanted McTominay, they would have bought McTominay. End of story.
Yeah.
Bayern is not a joke like Manchester United. They're not like a stupid club. Their intent in the window is right on the money. If they want something, they get it. They don't dilly-dally. They don't do this sort of bullshitting that Manchester United does.
So yeah, so I think it's a mixture of the ownership and of course Arnold and Moto. I think it's a mixture of both that is left us in the situation. I don't think it has anything to do with the manager or
Absolutely not. I mean, we should
scouting
not be
stuff.
blaming Ten Hag at all. I
Not at
agree.
all, not at all.
I mean,
But
if
I think
you
he's had to
see
be.
the game we had against Arsenal away at Emirates, even not, the squad we have, right? We still can't get in Amrabat, where we had Dallo playing left back, which incidentally, where everybody thought that he's going to be a problem, and we got Regulon for half a season and paying 120k full wages for him, saying that Dallo might be a problem, wherein Dallo looked really fine today. It was, in
He
fact, I
was
mean,
good there.
I was surprised that Van Bissaka had a torrid time. I mean, he had a really difficult time keeping up with Martinelli. And no, I don't take anything away from Martinelli, man. The man was absolutely brilliant from
He was
minute
brilliant,
one.
yeah. He was.
And that was a concern that I raised in before the whistle, our show yesterday, wherein I was really concerned that, Martinelli is being overshadowed by a lot of talk of Saka. But I actually thought that, Martinelli's directness and pace could hurt us. And that's what's happened.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, we all knew, how our squad is going into this. We were not favorites. Arsenal were definitely the favorites, but we had a much better game. So I can't blame the manager. He had a good setup. His tactics were spot on. Wherein with what he had, he did the best he could, and he looked really decent up until right at the end, where the manager was left with a centre back pairing of Maguire and Evans, which was they were just horrendous at defending. That second goal with Declan Rice, who gets the ball, he stutters, he has all the time in the world to set himself up and take the shot. And guess who are the two defenders closest to him that were like slow as a bloody snail? They're probably slower than my bloody grandmother.
Yeah.
He should have been closed down. And guess what? Evans and Maguire, the closest players, were sleeping.
Yeah, I think in their minds they're already retired, so they're already on holiday. One player should have retired, and one player definitely should have retired, and both of them are still playing for United. And as you know, like you were saying, it's a centre back pairing for an intense game in the last minutes. Just,
I mean, I sort of feel so bad for Erik Ten Hag, man. I mean, time and time again we see this. We see our managers, pulling something exceptional with a mediocre squad. With a mediocre squad, and you see the following season, what do they get? Absolute no backing. I mean, what has Erik Ten Hag got this season? Most of the signings he's done have not been his first choice. The priorities in this window have been abysmal. I've been saying this from day one that we have really gone into this window completely wrong. I feel it was a massive mistake to go for Andre Onana and messing up the De Gea deal, because I think that we could have easily managed another season with David De Gea, and probably use that money for signing players in positions where we are desperate.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Like, I
Targeting
think,
Mount as the first signing and spending a whole lot of bunch of budget on him again does not seem right to me.
but I feel like there was some thought into this, and I think we'll
Yeah,
get
the
to know
thought,
about this.
you're right. The thought, I believe, was that, a Mount had to be done because Chelsea was in a hurry to get him sold before June. So, which is the reason why we didn't have the leeway to leave him till last. Because I'm sure, look, Ten Hag was probably told that, oh, we're going to be selling players. We'll have about 200 million. We'll sign Mount now and then we'll sell players and give you money to get what you want. And that's why he probably agreed that, yeah, I really want Mount. He's a really good player. And if you can probably sell players later and get me the money for the players I want, then yeah, let's go ahead and go with Mount. It's not Ten Hag doing these negotiations. It's not Ten Hag who was not capable of selling players to get better players in.
Yeah, that's a sorry state of affairs, and I don't really know what to say for that, but
I mean, I don't either. I
here's
mean, let's get
here's
into
what I
the
feel.
player ratings, man, because with this rant how we can go on and on. So I'm sure we're gonna continue when we get to this player ratings.
Let's go.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's my player ratings on the window, and I will be coming to the substitutes soon. So let's start, bro, from the back. Rohit, Onana. So, what are your thoughts on Onana's performance today, man?
I think Onana had a decent game, and I think I was very impressed when I saw him outside the box quite a few times. And there was one instance where I looked away from the television, and then when I looked at the television, Onana was with the ball, and there was an Arsenal player standing right next to him. Like, they were almost having a coffee chat. Like, and I was very impressed with that bit of play from Onana, and I think there is a reason why Ten Hag was very very particular about signing this guy, and I think we'll see it, and I hope to see it
I
through
mean,
the season.
I don't completely agree with that point. I know Ten Hag really appreciates the player and really wanted a ball playing goalkeeper. But I honestly do not believe that Ten Hag was hell bent on getting rid of De Gea. I believe that Ten Hag upgraded Onana. De Gea was a good keeper. He's
He
not a
was a good
terrible
keeper,
keeper.
yeah.
He's just not a modern keeper, but he's a
Yeah,
brilliant shot stopper, and we all know
he
he
is.
won the Golden Glove. So
He
I'm
is.
pretty sure if Erik Ten Hag knew that he's not gonna get the money he needs to do his priority signings, he wouldn't have prioritized Onana. I'm pretty
That's
sure
one
he'd
way to look
be.
at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Erik Ten Hag is that naive to go into another season with making such sort of priority signings when he knows there's other glaring errors in where that needs more attention. I think this is what I'm talking about, wherein he's been led to believe that United will sell players and he probably will have the money he needs to go
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
get players in positions he wanted.
Yeah. That's
So
no argument there. Yeah.
I
I
agree with
totally
you
get that.
with Onana. The moment that you spoke about, for a second, that was a quick scare for me as well, and that's something we're gonna have to get used to it because Onana is pretty confident. We're probably not, but he
Yeah.
definitely is that confident to let an opposition player come so close to him that probably he might just give him a kiss now.
Yeah, it was so close. But just I just wanted to run back on one more thing. When you said we could have kept De Gea for one more season and then used that money a little better. But I think, like you were saying, right? Like at the start of the transfer window, Ten Hag was probably given that idea that we are going to sell, and there's so many players that are surplus to requirements right now,
No,
and
totally. Which is
we
what.
are going to sell those guys, and then we're going to get the money to invest.
Hmm.
But I think where Onana will come in is once we start playing the proper transitional football that Ten Hag wants to play. I think that's when we'll really see what Onana can bring to the team. But right now, I don't think we're there yet.
Agreed. I agree with you, in that, and I completely believe, that Ten Hag was definitely led to believe that, he will have enough players and we will be approaching this window differently. And, United, man,
Yeah.
how, when it comes to stuff like that, Richard Arnold and John Merton must have gone like, oh, don't worry, we're
Yeah.
going to approach this window differently.
Yeah.
We're going to be, going in guns blazing, selling this guy, that guy. We'll raise you this much money, that much money, blah, blah, blah. Ten Hag's not dumb, man. So I think the man knew what he was doing, but he was just let down by the hierarchy up there. So in no way should we blame Erik Ten Hag for the
No,
fiasco that we're in. The man
definitely
is
not.
doing the best he can with what we have, and like you said, yes, we will definitely, as once we start seeing more of Ten Hag style of play come into the picture, the Onana signing will start to look so it'll start to look like an outstanding signing. I completely agree, but
Yeah.
the concern is, when do we start seeing this team playing Ten Hag football? Because right now it seems like this team is not capable of it. We lack players that have the technical ability to be able to do what Ten Hag wants them to do time and again. Today, though, apart from the last dying few minutes, there were a lot of positive things that I saw from as compared to the start of the games. I saw Rashford was so much better in my opinion. We'll come to him
Yeah.
later. We
Yeah.
saw
Yeah.
players like Rashford, Anthony doing a lot more tracking back. We saw
Yeah.
players being a little less wasteful on the ball in areas where they shouldn't be. But
Yeah.
again, the concern is transitioning from defense
Yeah.
into attack. We looked lost today. Bruno didn't look at his best. He was anonymous a lot of the game.
Completely.
Casemiro did not look at his best. And when we transition from defense to attack, I don't know. I mean, we seem off. We're not sharp. Our passes aren't crisp enough. They're not accurate enough. They don't go to the receiver's feet. They're always a yard here and there. Even a simplest pass, like we saw with Dallo, doing the hard work where one of the where he intercepts the ball, makes that good run up there, but
Yeah.
completely misplaces like a simple 7 yard pass. So
Yeah.
transitioning forward, if we don't have Bruno at his best, it looks like we just cannot progress the ball forward, because our passing
Yeah.
isn't crisp. It's not there. In fact, we don't see the style of that one touch passing, that quick movement, touch and
Yeah.
move,
Yeah.
off the
Yeah.
ball movement. We don't see that fluidity which we saw from Hoyland. A surprisingly 20-year-old comes in and gives people a good show. The flick that he did that led to the Garnacho goal was outstanding. That's the sort of thing I'm
Brilliant. Yeah.
talking about.
But you know why? You know why that probably was there with him and not with the others? I feel like that comes from a place of no fear. Like he has nothing to lose. And I feel like the younger players bring that to the table. Like if Ten Hag had substituted maybe say Hannibal or Pellistri, like in place of Anthony, we would have seen a little bit of this fearlessness in the younger players.
No, I mean, Anthony also, I think, had a decent game. I didn't see Anthony do a lot wrong. In fact, in my opinion, other than Rashford, Anthony was our best attacking player. So today's game, he wasn't so bad. I would definitely like to see a lot more from Anthony in terms of taking people on. But I think with Anthony, we're at least seeing some sort of progress. It's still slow. I want to see
Yeah.
the progress be faster, but at least there is progress. He looks that he's getting better with every game. So again, it's just a second. It's his second year. It's a big season. This is the year he needs to prove himself. So we'll come to him. Let's
Yeah.
just finish with Onana's rating, wherein I give Onana a strong 6.5 because I don't see a lot that he could have done for any of the goals. And as you rightly pointed, playing out from the back, he looked a lot, like himself once again.
Yeah, so I'd give him 6.5 too. I think he was good. I think the low rating is only for the goals that have gone in. He's not responsible for any of it.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I think the second goal he could have maybe stopped. He could have.
I'm not
But
exactly sure. I mean, for him to save that second goal, because if you saw that goal, that sort of deflected from a defender and went into the goal.
yeah, yeah.
So that's, I
correct.
think, is what put Onana off a bit. And come on, you gotta give the your keeper the benefit of doubt in situations like this when the back line in front of him is that horrendous, and you had Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans absolutely dozing and not closing Declan Rice down. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't blame Onana exactly for that, but like you said, yeah, a lot of goals and not a great performance defensively. So 6.5 is what I think is
Fair
the right
enough.
score. Let's move to Dallo, Diego Dallo. I think he had a fairly decent game given he's playing out of position. I rate him
Yeah.
again 6.5.
Yeah, I would actually give him maybe 6.5 to 7. And I think one of the reasons he did well was because he was right footed against left footed Saka. So I think that was like a perfect match where, they went toe to toe, I think.
That's a really good point. I mean, it's we all know, how good Saka can be,
Yeah.
on his day. So definitely, being able to keep a player like Saka quiet for a span of 90 minutes, and that too when they're home, I think Dallo was pretty good. He had a
Pretty good,
solid,
yeah.
he had a decent, solid performance, not a lot wrong. So I give him again 6.5.
Yeah.
Martin is, before the injury, according to me, has been the best
He was the
man
best player, I swear. He was.
on the pitch in our back line.
Nice.
He's I think he's a strong contender for the man of the match. He was a strong
Yeah.
contender for man of the match until he came off, and it's really concerning. And I hope it's a minor injury and he can be back by
Yes.
the time the international break ends.
Yeah, same. I hope same. I think I feel very confident seeing Martinez play. Like I feel there's a sense of assurity when he's playing. Like I know that we're covered. you
Absolutely,
know, before we go to the subs, I want to finish the assurance part from the current centre backs that are on the screen
yeah,
before we go
definitely.
to so. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, I'd give him a 7.5 for sure. He was, I think, one of
He
our best players today.
I'd give him a 7, obviously, given he was better than everybody else. But again, as a defensive unit, we've let in 3 goals, so which is why I think I'm not going above a 7 for anybody right now, is because it's just disappointing. But
Yeah.
absolutely, up there, in contention for the man of the match. So a 7 for me. So
Nice.
let's moving on to Lindelof again. We all know he's always, that steady Eddie. He's all when he comes, he does the job. Yes, he
Yeah.
did get caught a few times, once or
Yeah.
twice here and there, wherein he judged an odd bounce wrong, and was sort of
Yeah.
caught
Yeah.
off and was
Yeah.
lucky to get away with only a yellow card because we had other defenders
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I'd probably deduct a few points because of that. So I'd give him an average 6, wherein steady performance, we know, but I don't know why he was off. I'm hoping that's not an injury concern, but yeah, I don't think he should have been off. So a 6 for Lindelof.
6. Yeah. Same. I'll give him a 6 too. 5.5 to 6.
Yeah, so I wouldn't go below average because I didn't see him do a lot wrong, at least until he was on the pitch. So I wouldn't want to give him something below average.
No, that's the thing with Lindelof. You never get like below average performances with him. He
Yeah,
always
yeah.
puts in at least a decent performance.
Always steady, man. He's always
Yeah.
there to do his job and put up a show for the team.
Yeah.
So definitely 6, and I'd like to see him a lot more. I don't want to
This
see
season, yeah.
anything like I saw today again, man. I don't want to see Harry Maguire and Evans anywhere near the squad.
Okay, sure.
So yeah, Wan Bissaka, for me, had a poor game. Today,
Yeah.
by his standards, specifically, given that we spent most of the game in our own half, so it was more of a defensive game. Then going forward, we barely,
Fair.
went up as much. So in a defensive game like this, you expect a lot better from Aaron Wan-Bissaka. At least his how he is when it comes to one-on-one. Plus, he was a bit lucky, and we got away a bit in a way. That penalty could have been given. How VAR is. I think it was an
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely right call
Right
to
call, yeah.
not give that penalty because it was not a penalty. But it was stupid by Wan-Bissaka to put that foot there. He was lucky that he didn't make much contact or barely any contact. So I think
Yeah, yeah.
Wan-Bissaka was poor. A 5. His positioning was as usual really bad, which is why Martinelli and his pace gave him so much problems. So
Yeah,
yeah, a 5 for me.
I'd give Van Bissaka a 5.5 because he did. I mean, I agree that he was out of position quite a few times, but he did keep a brilliant Martinelli at check. because there could have been so many crosses that came in
No,
from that
I
side.
I wouldn't agree with that, man. Because if you see the stats, Martinelli had more crosses this game than probably both the squad completely combined.
Okay,
So,
that's
yeah, I
yeah.
mean,
I think there were quite a few corners from Martinelli, right? Like
corners and crosses,
I
man. I
considered,
mean, he
yeah.
was constantly getting the better of Van Bissaka and putting balls in one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. The first goal was a pass by Martinelli.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, he Martinelli had a field day, man. He was having fun today. So,
Yeah. Practice match.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, because Van Bissaka was all over the place in terms of his
And
positioning.
I think also you mentioned the penalty, and I'm really shocked Anthony Taylor didn't give a penalty. Like against United, that was I don't know, that was one of those odd days I think where but yeah, he made up for that with the Garnacho offside. So we can I think he balanced it out. He balanced out his act over there, but anyway, I spoke too soon. I think.
Yeah, man, too soon. So we've got Jonesy chats wrestling in the chat that who says that when you're having to rely on Evans and Maguire, it's no wonder we lost. I'm absolutely I think all of us agree with you, Jonesy, man. I mean, it's horrendous. It's abysmal. It's a disgrace. It's embarrassing to see how are we in this position to ever have a centre back pairing of Maguire and Johnny Evans
Yeah,
in a game
you know
like
what?
this.
I think if the message has to be delivered even more clearly to Maguire, I think they should give him the wrong time for the bus and they should leave him behind one of the days for one of these away
Man, I
matches.
mean,
I
Maguire would
feel
have
like
been if it was on me, Maguire would have been already with the reserves. I don't care. I would have probably, got a youth guy to play. It
yeah,
doesn't matter to be honest, really, because as poor as he is, I mean, I don't see why we can't put a kid in there because I'm sure the kid would bring in a
yeah,
lot more energy and heart at least.
yeah,
Even if he makes mistakes, we know Maguire makes like only and only mistakes. So it would any day be better to get like a kid on than Harry Maguire on that pitch, man. So we've got Snake
much.
Eyes on in the chat, who's all smiles. I don't know what for. Snake Eyes. Are you by any chance an Arsenal supporter, dude? Because you look too happy for this game. Because I mean, I want to cry. So I don't know why you look so happy, bro. So yeah, moving on. Let's go to Casemiro. You can see the graphics as 6, but as the game progressed towards the end, uh, I realized that probably Casemiro was a 5.5 for me. Not a lot wrong. He did not
Hmm.
do a lot wrong, but by his standards, he that wasn't the best performance. I think Casemiro
Yeah,
could have done a lot better. Could have been, in places to where he could have probably helped a bit more. But again,
yeah,
with Casemiro, it just seems like we're putting too much on him. People seem to
yeah.
forget, with the wonderful season he had last year. The guy, you know,
Has grown 1 year older also. I
exactly.
think
So people, sort
yeah,
of
yeah.
forget with the season he had that he's 31, so almost.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I think since you're talking about the midfield, I'd give all the midfield like Casemiro, Eriksen, and Fernandes an average of 5.5 to 6 because I feel like most of the game there was no midfield. Like it was all long balls, and I started to think like, is this like I started to remember Jose Mourinho for a minute. Like I was
but
just seeing long balls after long balls going into the
because
attack.
again, right, I that's definitely a consequence of how we play with not having a ball playing midfielder that can carry the ball. So
Correct.
if you
Yeah.
don't have somebody that can, in scenarios in a game like this with so much of pressure and the entire battle in midfield, be there. You need somebody who has that strength on possession, has that calmness, has that awareness, who's constantly scanning around him to see
Correct.
spaces, receiving balls on half turns, turning in, getting through players, beating that one or two men in midfield, giving us more space up top, and then releasing the likes of maybe Anthony and Rashford, and
Yeah.
linking up with Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah,
So
and then I'm just going a bit off topic. So when you were saying we need a ball playing midfielder who scans the field and is aware. I think there are times when Martial thinks he's Messi, and he's just walking around scanning the field. I don't know what he's trying to scan. Like
Marshall's not
I was,
scanning, bro. I mean,
I
when I
have
said
no idea what
scanning,
he's doing.
no, I
Yeah, I
mean,
understand, but I'm just
yeah.
saying, I just
Definitely,
felt like
because scanning is when you're actually just looking over your shoulder, giving that quick looks to before receiving a ball to make sure where the space is and where your players are. What Marshall is doing is just dilly dallying. He's just walking in the garden. He's taking a stroll in the park, and I mean we'll come to Marshall,
yeah,
in the
yeah.
rating, but yeah, you're right when you say that. So. And Snake Eye says that was Maguire the reason you lost today. He's a very big reason why we lost today. Definitely, because the defending in the last few minutes was horrendous, and it was down to a centre back pairing of Maguire and Evans. Even the second goal, like I said, the closest people to Declan Rice that could close him down were Evans and Maguire. They who were absolutely caught sleeping. So yeah, moving
Let's move
forward.
to
So
Eriksen. Yeah.
Casemiro, like I said, was a 5.5 for me. Not at his best, but I wouldn't completely put the blame on him. I just think we're running him down, man. He already looks tired, and we're just starting the season. So Ericsson was, I think, and again, I would give him an average 6. Would have probably been better because yeah, the wonderful play he had for our goal, winning that ball, that interception, and then that vision and the capability, like we know, to execute that brilliant, beautiful pass. So
Yeah.
brilliant, but Ericsson was to be blamed for the first goal, wherein he completely lost track of Odegaard. Odegaard was his man. I think we
Yeah,
would have
yeah.
never seen a player like Amrabat get caught out there. Uh,
Yeah, so I think just following up from what you said, Ericsson, I think we got him a couple of years too late. He's brilliant. His technical ability is not unquestionable, but I think he's really slowed down over the
um,
last maybe a year.
even if he's
He's
even if he hadn't slowed down, I think we'd still face the same issue because I've never seen Ericsson anything other than a number 10. I'll be honest with you. I don't
correct. That's
see
also
him
true.
as
Yeah,
that box to box midfielder who can do this
yeah,
job. So he's definitely out of his element. But given given the fact about almost 2 years ago he was flat on his face on the ground.
he's
And
definitely he's
so, I mean, if Ericsson is used a lot more sparingly and better, wherein, he can impact games, maybe coming on or play about for 55 to 60 minutes in
yeah,
not in such high intensity games, rather than games where we can play more with possession. I think he can do a lot better. He can
oh
offer a
yeah,
lot more.
he
So
can do brilliant. Yeah, 100%.
exactly. So again, I kind of feel a bit sorry for Ericsson as well, having to do what he has to do when he clearly doesn't have the legs to do it. So
Yeah, he doesn't have the legs. Yeah.
So I'd give him an average 6, man. Uh what about Bruno Fernandes, bro? I mean, I'm gonna let you take the lead on this, our captain. What would you rate his performance?
I think he was missing in the first half. Like I hardly saw him the first half. I don't know what the issue was. Like I don't know what the link. There's hardly any link between him and the attack. But I think Bruno in today's game, I think he was a little more alive in the second half. As usual, he always worked his socks off. He ran across the pitch. He tried to make those transitions between defense and attack, but not his best game. I don't think it was a good game.
Yeah, you're right. In
And
a way, you're definitely right. So go on. I agree with you.
yeah, but I think this is one issue that I have. Like we cannot rely on him for every game. Like we cannot rely on him to be the focal point between the defense and attack in every game. There has to be somebody else also, and I'm hoping that either Mount or Amrabat can be that guy.
True, true. True. That is a very good point that you make out there. I mean, Bruno, we all know how exceptional he is when he's at
Yeah,
his best. But you can't be depending on one player to do everything for you in every damn game. And I mean, he's
yeah,
already doing so much for us. And what we're expecting is, I don't think any squad, even if City is completely ends up, in a position where they're completely reliant on only De Bruyne doing everything.
yeah,
He's not gonna have the best game every day.
yeah.
So
Obviously not.
yeah, it doesn't work like that. Football's a game of 11 people. So we definitely need others to step up and take some pressure off of him in terms of adding that creativity. Like you said, he was anonymous in the first half. A lot of that, I think, has to do with not having that box to box and that ball playing midfielder that can release that pressure in midfield and link up with Bruno.
Correct,
And
correct,
Bruno
yeah.
himself is also not one of those guys that does that a lot, And so I think
Yeah.
we had nobody that could link that, defense with Bruno. We saw him come into the game a lot more in the second half. The reason I feel a big reason for that was the substitution of Højlund. With Højlund
Yeah,
coming in
correct.
deeper and linking with Bruno is what got him involved a lot more in the game, and that is
Yeah.
why we saw that perform Bruno resurface in the second half. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, definitely we always get the best. You always get the best from Bruno in terms of work rate and heart and passion. So I again give him an average 6. I
Yeah.
mean, I think he would have been below average if not for that resurgence in the second half.
Yeah.
But like you said, we can't expect Bruno to be doing everything every time.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
So let's move on to Anthony. So we've already touched on Anthony a bit, wherein we've discussed where Anthony I think wasn't as bad as people say. We've seen progress from him. We see progress from him every game. However, I think he's suffering. He suffered a bit from the criticism he got earlier on for that spin that he did, and that sort of put him off from dribbling. But you can now see that confidence starting to slowly creep back in, where you at least see him try a few more take-ons.
Yeah, I think with him, the end product is completely missing. Like there's no point putting on a show till like the what do you say, the 90% of the field, and then the last 10%, because the last 10% is the most important. You I don't want you to put on a show till like 90% of the field and then the last 10% you mess it up. I'd rather you put on no show till 90% and show us what you've got in the last 10%.
True, Rohit, you're very very right in that matter. But I feel like a lot of the issues that we have with even performances like Anthony has to do with our attack not being cohesive. They don't look like a unit. They don't play those intricate 1-2s with each other a lot. You don't see that link in them, and I think that is one of the reasons too. Because every time Anthony gets the ball, we're expecting him to dribble past one or two players. When he's new to the league, he's still settling in, and when you're getting a new player, you kind of want him to get into an attack that's already good link up, and they're there where supporting him, wherein he has that confidence to take those players on when need be. Right now it's like we're putting, if it's Rashford who gets the ball up there, we're completely depending on him to do something out of the world or dribble past players and create something without involvement of other players or support from others. Same with Anthony. So we need that
Yeah.
entire forward line to work as one, work more as a
Yeah.
team, do that, off the ball movement, 1-2s, move around the field, create spaces, and I think we will see a lot better from Anthony. We have Zishan in the chat who says that why play Maguire, put Casemiro as centre back. Erik Ten Hag is overrated and bring on an extra midfield. So Zishan, I mean, I agree with half of your statement there, and half I completely disagree with, wherein I completely agree on why play Maguire and put Casemiro. What I don't agree is putting Casemiro as a centre back. Like I said, he's already been run off the park, and if we put Casemiro down deeper into centre back, we're gonna completely lose that midfield battle, and a midfield like Arsenal are gonna completely destroy us, and we would have probably had something like a Liverpool where we were probably 6, 7 or 8 goals down if we end up doing that. So yeah, Casemiro for me is not one of those CDMs that can drop in as a center back. Yeah, definitely he can, in possession, come in there and link up with the center backs, but I don't see him as a guy who can come down and do a center back's job. Although like I said, I agree with you, still I would not play Maguire. That is something that I do not understand from Erik Ten Hag, because it's mixed signals. On one side, you're stripping Harry Maguire of his captaincy and not, you're sending that signal that you don't want him, but on the other hand, you need to make it clear, throw him out down the reserves. He's not doing anything great on that pitch anyway, so get a kid in instead. Get somebody from the youth if you have to. I'd rather do that. So yeah, I will agree. I will agree with you in terms of like we shouldn't be putting Johnny Evans or Harry Maguire anywhere there. But I still do not feel, I completely disagree with Casemiro being as a CB, and I disagree with Erik Ten Hag being overrated. I think the man knows what he's doing, and he knows a lot more than what we do in terms of footballing tactics. And a lot of things has to do with, he's not being backed. There's only so much a manager can do, in terms of he can't go and play for you on the pitch. He can prepare you, he can tell you what to do, he can throw 100 tactics at you, but he can't do anything if the players aren't capable of executing those tactics on field. We've got Stu Mac saying that he's the latest overhyped average white English footballer after Dare and Maguire. Overhyped average white English footballer. I'm not really sure who he's talking about here. Any Rohit?
Overhyped average. I don't know.
I mean, overhyped after Deer and Maguire. Who's the other English player that we have that's overhyped and white? Is that Johnny Evans?
Johnny Evans is Irish, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. In any, I mean,
if
a
you
bit
tell
more
us the
clarity,
chat,
Stu, if you can just let us know whom you're talking about. So yeah, I mean, moving on. So Anthony is a average 6 for me. What about you, Rohit?
Anthony is for me 5. I won't give him 6. I kind of don't fully agree with what you just said about him not having the support in attack. I think he has support and he's messed up quite a few times. And honestly, like when I see him run down the right flank, I'm not confident enough. Like I feel a lot more confident when I see Rashford running down the left flank. Like I feel like I think something will happen.
No, I agree with you, but you have to understand that Rashford has had 8 years in Premier League playing for Manchester United. Anthony and we all know time and again we've seen a lot of players, top talents coming into the Premier League and completely fluffing and being able to do nothing. Jadon Sancho being a massive example of that.
Yeah.
But when I say that I don't think he was as bad, I mean is that in terms of the progress that Anthony is showing in the timeline he's here as compared to others like Jadon Sancho, he's been a lot better. And yes, he has been wasteful, definitely. He should be criticized for things where he's doing wrong. I will absolutely agree with you. But I think we're a bit too harsh on Anthony as compared to, other people that have come in the previous years in his position. So he's a player that's still, adjusting a bit. And like you said, our entire style of play has changed. Our backline doesn't seem as one. Our midfield doesn't seem as one. Our attack doesn't seem as one. So I don't want to be isolating one player in this scenario wherein mostly a lot of players are not at their best right now. So as you see, if when everything is going right, everybody looks good. So
No, I feel like with Anthony, it's still not clicking there.
I mean, I respect your opinion, bro. I completely respect your opinion, and I understand where you're coming from. But in just my in the defense of my rating for Anthony is just that he's still a player I think that is adjusting to the Premier League, and I think with time to come we'll see a lot better off of him. And I just don't want to be too critical and too harsh on him right now. It's still the start of the season with the entire squad performing that abysmal. That's about it. So I do agree with what you're saying as well, and I respect that opinion completely, and I understand why you would give him a below average rating as well. So we can hope that he gets better.
Yeah, but I genuinely hope that he can get much better, and Ten Hag really rates him. So
definitely, he definitely sees something in him. So yeah, by the end of the season we'll know.
Hopefully, yeah.
So okay, moving on, man, to Martial. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this guy, man. We've already spent shows and years talking about this dude. 8 years, like Rashford in the squad, abysmal, lazy, no work rate, just loitering, trotting on the pitch. The only thing he gives us is a bit of a movement similar to what a number 9 would do. So we look a bit better. That's about it. But yeah, poor in linking up play, poor in holding on the ball, poor in winning, jumping head for headers, winning for air balls, poor up front, poor movement up front, absolutely poor in pressing, poor in everything. So we need to move on from this guy. Hopefully Hoyland can do more than what he's shown us. I've been ecstatic with what I've seen so far. A very
Yeah,
small
yeah.
glimpse, but I'm hoping that moving forward we see a lot less of Martial. So yeah, my rating is a 3, man. Abysmal.
We will. It's only about. It's a matter of time before he gets injured again and he's back. So I don't want to jinx it, but I don't need to jinx it. Like I don't think he needs any of the jinx that I'm going to give.
Bro, I mean,
It's a natural
it was
process.
a
So
hot day, man. All we need is a slightly colder day in England with winds going a bit, stronger than usual, and Marshall will get injured.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, a 3 for me, man. Abysmal. So, let's go
Same.
to Marcus Rashford. So as you know, I'm usually a lot critical of Rashford. Generally, that's because I feel that he's somebody that has often not done a lot on the pitch than he should be doing. But uh, kudos to the man. He's proved a lot of the things that he showed a lot of things that I felt that he lacks, and he's shown a lot of that today in the game. He was so much better in terms of everything. He was better when he went up front in terms of he looked like the most threatening player up there, taking the
Yeah,
players on. Really good goal by him, cutting
yeah.
inside, a very good shot as well. So yeah, he's been really great. We saw so much more of him tracking back, supporting Dalot, doubling down on Saka. That's one of the very big reason why we were able to keep Saka quiet, with Rashford constantly tracking back the entire 90 minutes, which was really surprising to me. We saw a lot more effort from him, a lot more running from him, a lot more intent from him. So absolutely ecstatic with Rashford's performance. I would give him 7 and my man of the match, because simply because I like I said, I would have ideally given it to Martinez, but I only and only am giving Rashford my man of the match because I've always been critical of him. And with him, putting in a performance like that, doing things that he's I've usually criticized him for, improving on those, and putting that effort in. So if I'm critical of him, I think he deserves the praise, credit where it's due. So definitely my man of the match for today.
Yeah, I agree. I think he played brilliantly well, and I think he did really well to open the match. It scored the first goal. Very unfortunate that we conceded within like a minute after that.
That's
But
that's something we always do, right? I mean, for
yeah, yeah,
that is a massive concern since a long time, and I don't know what's up with
yeah,
that. Because
yeah,
and we need to address this really soon, because we are always sleeping on restarts. Start of the game sleeping, any goal conceded, restart sleeping, free kicks restart when free kicks, and by the free kick is taken, sleeping, corners, you're sleeping, any type of when possession of ball play is stopped and it's a restart, we're sleeping, second half start, we're
yeah.
sleeping. So yeah, that needs to be addressed. So that takes care of our first 11, man. So let's now head to the substitutes. The Let's get to let's get this
Let's get
abysmal ones out of the way, wherein
yeah.
Evans and Maguire. Uh, I'd give
I'm
them a negative rating if I could, but I'm gonna go with 1.
I'm going to go with NA, not applicable.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. I
what I'm
mean,
going
I
with.
sort of agree with that. Or maybe point
Uh,
0.5, just for the sake of putting something out there to show the world that how abysmal they were.
no, because they didn't put anything out in the field, so I can't put anything
Dude,
in my ratings for them.
it's
So
crap, man. I have no words for these guys. I Johnny Evans. I wouldn't exactly blame the guy. I blame this club as a whole to have that man there. Johnny Evans
yeah,
was not the best centre back even in his prime. So having him back at the club at this time and putting him in a game like this is just criminal. So it's criminal. It's criminal. I mean, it's absolutely criminal. If that's what we're doing now, having players like Johnny Evans come in, I would rather bloody call Nemanja Vidic out of retirement, who I'm sure would still do a better job.
oh for sure.
So
Yeah,
absolutely abysmal. These both of them. Harry Maguire. I have no clue. Harry Maguire is a consequence of Pratt Gate. He's a consequence
yeah,
of an absolute clown of a manager of the England international team. That's the
Yeah.
product of the nepotism that
Oh yeah, I was just going to say nepotism.
Southgate
Yeah.
has, where
Yeah.
he constantly picks shitty people like Maguire and Calvin Phillips over so much, such competent players. I feel bad for players like Colville and Ward-Prowse, who Sterling, who are so much better than
Yeah. So much
these
better.
clowns, man. So yeah, let's not waste more time on this fool as well. Again, Harry Maguire is a consequence of Gareth Southgate and this disgusting hierarchy that we've got in Manchester United. So if it was up to me after this game, I'd probably send Harry Maguire to the reserves and be like, boss, that's it, you're done.
Yeah,
And
the funny
probably
part about
go to the
Maguire is
youth.
like not a single Saudi club has come for him. Like I was really surprised.
Not
Like
a
if the
single Saudi
Saudis don't
club has
want him,
come for any player of United, man.
I mean, one guy has gone. What's his name? What's the left back's name? Who went? Forgot his name.
Tell
I'm not
us.
getting his. Tell us, yeah, he's gone to Saudi.
Yeah.
Anybody, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know if we can call Tellez a United player, man. So he was out on
Kind of
loan.
United player.
Sorry, exactly. So, which is why let's just move on from these two clowns, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm already too frustrated to be, and I think our viewers are already tired of my rant. So let's not give them more and move on to the positives of. Very, very few positives of Manchester United, which is the
I think we'll go with Garnacho first,
Exactly.
and then Rasmus after that.
So
Garnacho is always good when he comes on.
electric as usual, right?
Always.
Electric. So I'd give him a 7 definitely, even with the small cameo. Excuse me. The lad was so good, man. The kid was ecstatic. He's always great to watch. The intent is there. The pace is there. Electric.
Yeah.
Always looking to make something happen, man. So
Yeah.
that run, I do not believe it was offside, but again, we can't be dwelling on these things, and that's the
Yeah.
game, and we can't be relying on such calls to win us games. So Garnacho definitely 7. We didn't see much of him, but it's always great to see him.
Great to see him, yeah.
And
So-
let's move on to Højlund, the star, the most talked about player of Manchester United, I think right now. I'd give him a 7.5, the highest rating of anybody, given that he's a 20-year-old with his first game in the Premier League, with only, the inexperience that he has, and coming on and putting that show. Woo!
Oh, we have
At away to Arsenal, bro. That's at Emirates. It's not even at Old Trafford.
yeah. We actually have a brilliant player on our hands if we can get the best out of him. I think he's really fast. He's really strong.
Bro,
able
he's
to hold the ball.
dude, the pace. Man,
Yeah, he's
did
really
you
fast.
see that burst? We had a play where Rashford had the ball and was running with the ball down the left flank, and Rasmus was somewhere near the half line, and the electric pace, that burst that he's gone through the entire Arsenal midfield and back line and gone through them. And I think Rashford could have done a lot better there, and maybe put in a ball with his left foot. But in a way, I sort of let that go, because it's the first time with them playing together in a game. It'll take some time to link that up as well.
Correct, yeah.
But wow, man, he's got pace. He's got some insane pace. I'd go on to say that he looks faster than even Haaland. I don't know how effective he will be, but he definitely looks almost as fast, or if not faster than Haaland.
Faster than Haaland, yeah.
So brilliant. What would you say about his hold up play?
I think he's a proper number 9. I think he's the guy that we want, and he's the guy that's going to get rid of Martial for us. I think Martial's days are going to be numbered if this. I mean, of course, he's 20 years old. I'm sure he's going to keep fit, and I'm sure he's going to really.
I hope he's gonna keep fit, because I'm worried, man. I mean, with the news that had come out of the injury where it looks like he won't be able to play double games in a week for a while to come. That's very concerning to me, and I hope that's not serious and he can stay fit.
No, that was just a stress spot or something like that, which they said
Yes.
is temporary. Yeah.
But I mean, for a 20-year-old to have a problem like that does sound concerning. So I would definitely keep an eye on it, and I'm hoping it's not a concern. But let's hope
Yes.
that he can stay fit. But yeah, as you said, in terms of his hold up play, he looks strong, man.
Yeah.
He already looks like a guy who's ready for the Premier League in terms of physical strength. You could
Yeah.
already see the massive difference the second Hoyland came on. Since Hoyland came on,
Yeah.
we actually could push a lot higher on the pitch and
Yeah.
more
I
than
don't
we
know what.
did the entire game. There was
Yeah.
this, I think, a ball from Onana where Hoyland takes it down,
Yeah.
holds the player off, and
Yeah.
slides it in for, I think, Bruno Fernandes, and the flick, to link up play, holding the
Yeah.
ball and linking up play that led
With
to
Garnacho. Yeah.
almost a goal for Garnacho. So yeah, Hoyland seems like,
Yeah.
man.
And I think one thing I didn't like was when he came on, he was booed by the Arsenal fans. That was pathetic, actually.
Yeah, I mean, but we all know how Arsenal fans are, right? I mean, Arsenal and United have always had like a really good and healthy rivalry in terms of the clubs, but in
Yeah.
terms of fans, I think it's always been Arsenal fans are one of those cheeky ones, aren't they, man?
Yeah. But I understand.
They're not
You
they're not
have
great fans, man. I mean, come on,
you have like I
you
understand the
don't boo a
rivalry, but
20-year-old man.
exactly,
He's a kid
exactly.
coming in playing his first game in the Premier League, man. Come on. Give the lad some space, man. But again, in games like this, how rivalry goes, how fans can be.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm sure he's gonna have a massive welcome at Old Trafford next game if he
Oh, for
starts.
sure.
So, woo-hoo-hoo.
It'll be
I'm
great.
hoping
Yeah.
he starts because he's gonna have an entire international break to get up to
Get up to
speed.
speed. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, the biggest positive, Rasmus Højlund, from this game that I can take. And let's end the show with a rating for the manager. What would you give Erik Ten Hag?
I give him a 9 on 10, and I'll tell you why. Because he has, I think, handled the entire negative situation extremely positively. Like whenever I see his press conferences, like I'm always thinking to myself, man, this club is in a mess. The club is in a mess. And when I see his press conferences, when he talks so positively about the whole thing, like of course at the back of his mind he's got that it's a shit show,
No, but
but he
he's,
still brings
I
in.
mean, contrary to your opinion, he gets a lot of criticism for that sort of talk.
No, but he can't do anything. Like he cannot come out and openly criticize anybody.
I
He
totally
cannot
agree with
criticize,
you.
but he puts. I think he's the best thing that's happened to us since Sir
So,
Alex. I
guys,
I don't think.
definitely hit a like on that video for that. Absolutely, that deserves a like, man. Spot on, Rohit. He's the best thing that has happened to us.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
and and what hurts now is how he's being let down by
I
the
mean,
absolute shambles of an ownership.
what really scares me is I we all knew this was gonna happen if we end up being with the Glazers another season. I was so sure he will be let down, but what really scares me is that I really hope that the fans do not turn on him, man. Come
Yeah,
January, when we look like in a very difficult position and maybe top four doesn't look as realistic. I just hope, with the Glazers as usual and the club will start their PR bullshit. I'm just hoping, that the fans don't turn on him because, I mean, I really love you guys, man. I mean, my guests are just so brilliant, aren't they, guys? The positivity is just insane. I love these guys. 9 out of 10 for Erik Ten Hag. Whew, brilliant. I love you. I love you guys. Always have that positivity. I'm more of a slightly realistic guy wherein I would take a few points off of Erik Ten Hag for decisions like pulling Lindelof off for just getting a yellow card in a game like this. I do not agree with that. So I think I'd take a few points off for that decision because that massively cost us. Taking Lindelof, I think, directly cost us 2 goals. We probably could have scraped through with Lindelof there and not Evans with Maguire, because with Maguire no speed and no mental ability or intellect in defense, at least
yeah,
Lindelof has that. Lindelof
yeah, for
probably
sure.
would have had more intelligence to be a little more closer to Declan Rice than any of these two. So that definitely cost us. So I would give Erik Ten Hag a 7 because I think he set us up really well for this game. But the injury to Martinez and certain things, the way they played out, cost us the game. So not completely on him, but yeah, the call to take Lindelof off was definitely on him, unless it's an injury, which
We
doesn't
don't know.
look
We'll have
like.
to wait and see. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, with that, that concludes, guys, our match analysis and player ratings. Gonna be it's been a long one,
Yeah.
I mean, and I'll, how it usually goes with a game like this. So thank you guys for bearing with us and being as wonderful as you always have been. Thank you, Rohit, for being on the show. It was an intense and a brilliant discussion.
Thanks, Ankit, for having me on, and it was good to come and just have a chat about the Arsenal game. I really need to get it out, and
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the state of us fans, no, United. I mean,
yeah,
we need to vent it
yeah,
out because we only
yeah.
have been facing frustrations, man. With the whole sale saga, the transfer
So
window, and the start now, it's just one thing after another. Somebody save us, man. Hoyland, please save us. Save our season, man.
yeah,
Ten Hag and Hoyland.
someone
So,
has to save us, and I think it's time to take a vacation for the next weekend.
yeah, I'm going
Refresh.
underground, man. I'm going
Yeah,
underground. I can't be getting on Twitter or social media anymore, you know. So, guys, for Erik Ten Hag and Rasmus Højlund, hit that subscribe button on the bottom right hand of your screen just for those two guys. It'll really help us, guys, with jokes apart. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content and you guys like the discussions. It would mean the world to us, and we will be back after the international break with our before the whistle, wherein we will talk about the preview of Brighton and Manchester United at Old Trafford. So thank you guys for
thank
being
you
a part of the
guys.
show. We'll see you
Thank you
guys
so
soon.
much.
Thanks, Rohit.
Yes,
See you, man.
thanks,
Take